I got margin called 7 times last year on Bitcoin.
7 times.
And when we came in, 50 guys changed the entire energy sector.
That's it.
In the 50 minutes.
Do you think all Bitcoiners are preppers? Does every Bitcoiner have guns and ammo and food in their house? I would say a good percentage of them.
I think they should be.
They should.
And I'm a taxpayer. Okay.
Right.
I want to pay my taxes.
Me too.
But I don't want my taxes to kill anyone.
Me too.
And I feel guilty for continuing to pay my taxes.
What's up, traders? Welcome back to the show. Today, I've got a very special interview. We are on top of St. Pete, sitting down with Mr. St. Pete, Gary Cardone. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about his early career as an energy trader. He's going to share some incredible facts, incredible stories. Gary's a really good guy to talk to. Super casual, super relaxed. And I think a lot of you guys share similar beliefs to Gary. And I'll tell you, we just finished up. The best thing he says is probably the last 5 or 10 minutes. Don't skip to the end, but I think if you stay through till the end, you'll be very, very happy with it. So I appreciate your time. Make sure you're subscribed, and now enjoy the episode with Gary Cardone. Tracking your trades has never been more important, and it's also never been easier with TradeZella. Shout out to Umar and their team for being a sponsor of today's video. We love the product. I use it in the Black Shirt Club every day in the mentor mode. I use the backtesting and playbook section as well. I use it for my own trading. It helps me make improvements. It's the cute little calendar that everybody likes to see when I post my P&L. If you want to start using TradeZella, use the link in the description, use the discount code down below, save 10% on either your monthly or your yearly membership. Start tracking your trades today. It's going to help you make more money. It's going to help you know where you need to make improvements, even if it's something as small as, hey, I'm losing a lot of money on Tuesdays. Let's figure out, why am I losing money on Tuesdays? Let's figure out what time of day, what instrument, what asset. All of that and more can be found in TradeZella. So if you're not a big tracking, journaling guy, just let TradeZella automate and do it all for you. Plus, you save some money when you use the link and the discount code down below. So thanks again to TradeZella. Let's get back to the video. All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm sitting down with a very special guest, Mr. Gary Cardone. Gary, thanks for being here, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. We are sitting in the beautiful sunny St. Pete. Can't be mad about being here. Before we get into your background, Gary, you said a few seconds ago before we started that you could sell anybody on St. Pete.
Yeah.
Tell me why. What's going on here? Tell everybody.
Well, I mean, if we can get a little film cuttage, I mean, I don't think I need to. I think the picture says more than I could possibly ever say. I mean, look, I could live anywhere I want in the world probably, and I choose to live here. I mean, got a little private airport there for short flights, got Tampa Bay, which is 25 minutes. I know people say I can't do that in 25. I do it all the time, 25 minutes. You got St. Pete Airport, which I think gets bigger.
It is.
Lands any freaking jet in the world.
Yep.
Nobody knows that about St. Pete, right?
Yep.
So, you know, you got a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, I'm surprised there's not more buildings here. Look, we're so competitive relative to Miami. Mm-hmm. We have roads that can expand 3, 4, 6 levels wide. Miami does not have that.
No. So
I think that this city, you know, Woods moved here, ARC, my whole team's here. I think you're going to see Tampa, St. Pete, a huge benefactor from the over-ingestion in Miami.
So we'll get some spillover from because, you know, everybody...
People are going to back out because they're going to be like, hey, I came here to really enjoy my life, and I can. I have 3 Ferraris. I never get out of first gear. That's Miami.
Yeah, literally.
Ferraris and Lambos that cannot get out of first gear.
Yeah.
It's just an awful lot of money went to one place at one time. The same thing happened in London, and it really messes the market up. So I think you're going to see people start to look at quality of life.
I mean, not just quality of life, pace of life goes into the quality of it. I think the pace of life here is a perfect balance of hustle. You can find the people that are hustling, but it's not Miami where it's like nonstop hustle, and fake money. Miami gives me that fake money, drugs, that vibe of like, this is just you could raise your family here and still get business done.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you can be single here too.
Be single
here. You can do either.
It's a great place to retire. That's what I was saying to my wife. We'll come back and retire here. Yeah.
But not overwhelmed with retirees.
Not at all. 15 minutes from the beach. You didn't even mention that, right? 15 minutes from the most beautiful beach.
Some of the best beaches in the United States, I would say.
So that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And
low taxes.
Low taxes. Can't forget
Plenty of real estate I can buy if I want to own a house.
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in owning homes, but if I want to own a home, I can afford one here.
Why do you say you're not a big believer? What's the number one reason to own a home?
No one should own a home.
Why?
It's a bad investment, man.
Because it doesn't gain value?
It doesn't
appreciate as much as it could?
It appreciates pretty much with inflation.
Right.
So the more dollars you destroy, the value of your house goes up. But if I were to measure the last 3 or 4 years of, I bought pre-COVID, so I bought really well. And first off, I think the only time anybody makes any money on a home is when they buy it right. Poof, that's it. You know immediately, hey, did I buy this thing right or not? And I think there's a period where once you bought it right and you get that inflation on the, oh wow, look, I made 30% on my money, you're never going to make more than 30%.
No.
Like that return's going to just go down over time. So most people, if they're going to invest in a home and go, hey, look at me, I made a bunch of money, you need to then sell it at the very top of the market and then go rent.
Where most people will hold it.
They're going to hold it forever and their return turns into shit.
And they're paying off the principal and interest, so they're actually paying more than what they thought they were paying.
Even if they didn't have any interest.
Okay. You got a 0% loan before COVID. 1%.
20 years, yeah, exactly. 20 years floater. 20 years, and you've had a roof that you had to fix.
HVAC.
Oh, dude, everything, okay?
Pool needs to be repainted.
Also, you have to maintain that stuff.
Right.
You're a young guy, I'm an older guy. My time to go clean the pool, bro, okay, that's a $10,000 freaking appointment for me.
Right.
Why would I clean the pool? Oh, Gary, the pool's leaking. You have to come home immediately. Like, these are things that people don't figure into the cost of a home. If you're working for me and you look at me at 1 o'clock and go, hey, I got to go handle my house, I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you to buy a house.
Right. I totally
like, I'm investing in you, and you're worried about the investment you made.
So could you say that real estate, because it goes with inflation, if you're a big Bitcoin guy, as we're going to talk about for you, would real estate be a good hedge to have if you are going to put a lot of money into Bitcoin?
Well, let's define real estate. Okay. I'm talking about a home that people buy and they go, hey, this is an investment.
A single family home that you're going to live in.
That you're not going to be able to generate income from.
Sure.
Down. Right? It's literally costing you money.
Yeah.
So to me, you'd be better off going to rent something, even overpaying for it.
Overpaying in rent.
And then invest the other money that let's say you were going to buy $1 million home.
Okay.
Just for easy math.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think you can buy a $100,000 home anymore, right? So $1 million, you got to put 60% down. So there's 600 grand just sitting there. If you go rent, you have to take the 600 grand and don't mess with it. You can't go buy perfume and stuff that's going to lose value. You need to take the 600 grand that you would have invested in the real estate and move that into an investment vehicle that generates more income than you thought the house was going to do.
Do you believe that vehicle for most people, especially with a longer time horizon, could be Bitcoin?
I think for me, yes. For others, hey, get down. For others that are just starting out, it may not be Bitcoin. It may be actually, and I don't mean to, I just happen to have a twin brother that's very successful in real estate. There are a lot of those young people, like I met a girl at the dentist yesterday, and she's like, look, I'm getting ready to receive $150,000 from my mom's trust. She died. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy a house. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're barely surviving here.
Yeah.
What you should do is take that 150 grand. She's gonna have to divide it with a brother.
Yep.
Take that 150 grand and decide what you're gonna do with it act as if you never got it.
Right.
Because she's in that position right now. She doesn't have it, it's in probate.
Right.
Working through the whole.
So you're saying put it through into an investment that you don't have to look at, just put it into something for the longer term.
And if it's Bitcoin, then don't look at the price.
Don't look at the price, right? Because of the time horizon.
Why do you care? The time horizon is the deal, man.
Yeah.
You're a trader.
Yeah.
So, there's so much volatility. Hello, 600% return in 5 years, man. I'm not in it for one day or 3 hours. Why would I look at a 3-hour chart?
Right.
Okay, unless I'm trying to buy more.
Of course.
Now, if I'm trying to buy more, I'm trying to be educated.
You can look at a chart. You can see what's done over the last month or two and say, hey, we're running up or we're pulling back. It might be a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Are you a dip buyer on Bitcoin? Do you buy the dips? Do you like to add into
I'm a DCA guy,
Yeah.
but I'm a dipper.
Yeah.
If is there a word for that?
What?
I get more heavy. Now, I didn't in this last round.
As it goes down, you get heavy?
Yeah.
To lower your
my
dollar cost.
DCA does not stay stable. I have a DCA that I know I'm going to do every year in volume.
Yeah.
And that, if if it goes below the fair market value, what's that number?
Why would you not buy?
Yeah, I mean, you could pull up a chart on this and go, this is what Gary's talking about. Fair, like if you ever bought below fair market value, you are awesome for 3 years.
Right.
I mean, if you just hold for 3 years, you never lose money.
Is the fair market price the same price as it costs to mine a Bitcoin? Is that what you're referring
No,
to?
it's kind of ripped through my mind as to what the value, like how they value this piece. See, I don't think it matters how much it costs to mine Bitcoin.
I don't think so either.
Right? It doesn't like I saw crude oil sold for $10.
Right. Doesn't cost $10 to pull
nobody
it up.
borrowed.
No way, bro.
Nobody found any oil at $10. Okay.
No.
What they did do, funny enough, that people forget, between $10 and $40, the United States energy sector learned how to frack. They did not learn how to frack at $100.
No.
Now, my point for that is that price pressure, I think, is awesome on industries because it forces people to become very, very technologically innovative. Like, they're going to solve the problem because people that drill holes in the ground, guess what they do, dude? They drill holes in the ground. It doesn't matter about price.
No.
Yo. No. If I'm going to have to move you, I will have to move you.
We've got a third guest, everybody.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Woodrow.
Yeah. Woodrow's joining us today.
Woodrow's in a little training. There you go.
He's a good boy. So let's talk about the energy stuff.
Yeah.
Let's put Bitcoin on the side. Because I did my research and chatting with you, and I wanted to make sure we touched on something that maybe you didn't talk about with other guests too much. Talk to me about like when you got into energy as a business, and why did you get in on the trading side of it? Why did you not get in the drilling side of it?
Oh, that'd have been boring.
That's the opposite of what people would think you say, because you always see the guys on the rigs,
dude.
oil going everywhere. It's exciting. It's crazy.
I was in that industry for 25 years, helped build Dynegy Inc., which would turn into a Fortune 30. Joined them at 27, I think.
Wow.
And then went to London and built 2 other businesses. I had never been to a platform in my life.
Really?
People were like, hey, go to the platforms, check them out. I'm like, why do I need to go to the platform? I'm trading, dude. I have a map. I don't need to go, ooh, look at that building. See that building right there, that big building, or some of these. Like, when I come to buy one of these buildings, I could care less what they have in it. I don't care. What I want to know is how much would it cost me to rebuild it? Can I buy it under the rebuild value, right?
Just like you said with real estate a second ago.
So when I'd go out to these platforms, you go out on these big helicopters, and they're still everywhere, dude. Millions, tens and tens of millions of dollars. The oil producer starts to think, hey, you understand, I need to make a good return to do all of this. He's right, but there are times when he's wrong. And so I just didn't want to start buying their story of look how much infrastructure we have. Commodities trade on that next unit, whether it's supply or demand. That next unit that either falls over supply and demand, think about a cup of coffee, you know this, but cup of coffee, and it only takes 1 unit to spill. It's that next unit in oil that sets the price. Most people don't really understand that it's that next variable unit. Or if there's great demand, cup's empty, right? Then you're gonna have to pull from somewhere, and price usually pulls. And those are very different things. When you mention Bitcoin, see, there's something about Bitcoin you cannot do. Cannot accelerate the production of Bitcoin, whereas $100, oil hits the market, like they'll be shoving water in the ground.
Literally.
Right, literally. To accelerate the flow of oil.
Yep.
So that they can enjoy that $100 net present value
Sell more
today,
of it, make more money.
Today, right now, because they know that's going to go away.
Of course.
But so that was 27. My first job was working for a pipeline company.
What were you trading?
Right out of school.
What were you doing?
They gave me contracts to read this big. I became a contract analyst.
Okay.
They called it a gas buyer, but that's really what you do. You go study these contracts, and that was a great blessing for me.
Why?
One, most people don't think that I could read a contract that long. 2, I'm really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good at picking out the pieces that are really, really important. But also it gave me a really, really, really strong legal understanding of contract law.
Yeah.
And I don't normally tell this to anyone, but I never use lawyers.
Really?
Never.
You read your contracts yourself?
I actually create my own contracts.
Really?
Yep. And I've never, ever, never been sued. Never had a lawsuit.
That's impressive.
Never had anybody go, hey, this, well, you know what I do? The intention of this agreement is the following. And then you go to the details. So, and if you get someone to go, hey, the intention here is this, it's hard for them 3 years later to go, hey, you know, it's not really what I meant. Well, first paragraph says
it's outlined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like hiring employees, and like I don't believe in locking someone up for life and not letting them go flex their muscles. Had a partner once, and they were like, "Screw the employees
Can't work for
down,
anybody else, right?
never
right.
forever." And I'm like, "Look, I'm going to hire you. If you learn something from my company and me that you did not know before, you can't compete with me for 2 years, okay?" And so we just spell it out.
Right.
Hey, clearly you did not have any experience in this field. Anything outside of that, dude, go help yourself. And that seems fair to me, right?
I agree.
It seems fair. If you learn something from me, don't rip me off. I would never do that to anyone.
Right.
So anyway.
So you're reading the contracts.
Yeah, reading the
What were you
contracts.
trading? Like, what was trading like back then?
Well,
Was it on a
there was
computer?
no trading.
I was going to say, not at
Nah.
that point. I hope you're enjoying today's video. Just want to give a shout out to the sponsor, Top One Trader. If you're looking to get funded, I've got a link and a discount code for you down below that's going to save you big bucks on your next funding challenge. So thank you to Top One. Now let's get back to the video.
There was hardly computers.
Right.
So in order for a market to become a traded market the way you know it, digits and hitting buttons, something had to happen before that.
Okay.
And what happened before that, between 1950s, 1940s, is that infrastructure, big pipelines were being built all over the United States.
Boom.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we got all this oil.
Now we can move
don't know where to sell it.
Correct.
Can't get it
to
anywhere.
move it.
Can't get it to the place that needs it. So you had utilities, big like Duke Energy,
Sure.
roll in. They got a deal from the government that basically said, look, any dollar you invest, all cost plus 10%, cost plus 12%. So for 40 years, the entire infrastructure of the United States, imagine all these pipelines that you don't even know or see, that allows for very few blackouts or brownouts anywhere in the United States. All that infrastructure has been put in place, including electricity. But after 40 years, man, guys like me show up and go, hey, you know, this market would work better if you didn't have supply and demand speaking to each other through a muffler. The muffler being big utilities saying, hey, I'm gonna buy enough energy for a 100-year event.
Right.
A 1 in 100-year event. I'm gonna buy so much energy. I'm gonna build a dam so a 1 in 1,000 event could never flood St. Pete. Well, dude, nobody's gonna approve that bond.
No.
No one.
Never.
Right? But on energy, for a while, once that infrastructure is laid, we came in and said, look, it's nat gas was trading at $7.63. This is very important, actually. $7.63. This is 1987, and when we came in, 50 guys changed the entire energy sector.
That's it.
50 men.
Wow.
I do mean 50 men.
Wow.
Guys like me, 27 to
Young
28,
guys.
30 years old.
That's amazing.
And we just looked at the market, and we're like, hey, there's so much supply everywhere, because there wasn't this balancing act that supply and demand. Price is an awesome, awesome tool.
It is.
It really manages demand. Mostly, it should manage demand. That's why I have a thesis that the energy complex in the United States has offered us too cheap of energy. I think I can actually prove that in a 10,000-man debate. Like, seriously prove that the energy price in this country is way, way too cheap. And we can go there later.
We'll go
if you
there in a
want to.
second.
So my job was to fill up a 2 billion cubic a day of piece of pipe running from Laredo to Houston.
Okay.
And there were producers that had contracts with XYZ company at $7.63, but they were only selling 10% of the supply.
That's it?
So guys like me would walk around and go, hey man, would you like to move all of that? You know, you're selling $10,000 a day, but you could be doing
100.
$2 million a day. Well, I'm locked up in this contract. I can't get out of the contract. So the United States government came out. Another thing worth understanding, they came out and said, FERC Order 461, all contracts are abrogated effective tomorrow morning.
Really? They
And
just
dude,
wiped them all.
Wiped them out.
Wow.
Governments do this.
Oh,
and
of course.
U.S. governments do this when necessary. So that would begin the deregulation cycle of energy sector. And that's why you have what you have today. But before all the price terminals, nat gas, August 2024, what's my call options, what's my puts worth? Before that, you had guys like me, dude, calling up Conoco. Hey man, you're on South Marsh Island, because we had all these maps. Like,
So you could see them.
I know the energy sector so well.
saw the
because,
pipelines, you
like,
see everything.
We're literally not on computers. We're
With a map.
big whiteboards,
Right.
rollout maps.
It's almost more fun.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
It was so cool.
I mean, I'd call Conoco or Arco up and go, hey, you got 30 million cubic feet a day, 12 hours before the next month. You got 20 million cubic feet a day sitting on South Marsh Island 241. They're like,
How does
no,
he know that?
no, we don't. And then they put me on hold, and they didn't put themselves on hold.
Right.
They said, hey, we need to confer. And I hear the guy in the background, how the fuck does he know more
that?
about
That's
our
so
production?
crazy.
I'm like, dude, this is what I do for a living,
Right,
bro.
right.
Like,
That's so crazy.
I'm a professional at this, and you guys are just sitting on a bunch of reserves. You're not really trying to maximize the game. So that started the spot trading market.
Got it.
Which is exactly what we have in Bitcoin before the ETFs and all.
Yep.
And 6 or 7 years into that, we then said, hey, let's go build a futures market. And that's how New York, NASDAQ, Commodities Exchange, they all got involved because they're like, all this volume's going to show up. Now, what's important about this story? In 6 years, I just heard just now some Bitcoin people going, oh, they're going to kill all the banks and centralize the banks to 15 banks. Yes, they are going to do that. They're going to do that with or without Bitcoin.
It has nothing to do with Bitcoin.
It has nothing to do with it. They need to do this,
Yeah.
okay? Because the way the world's reshaping itself. The commentary at the time was, you're going to kill this industry. No capital, extremely capital intensive business, okay? Massive.
Massive.
$100 million is a small deal. No capital is going to flow into energy. The entire energy sector is going to die. You're going to have people dying in hospitals because the power's not going to run. And there's going to be homeless in New York that are going to be freezing because there's not enough heating. Well, not only did none of that happen, in fact, Enron, which everyone will remember the story of Enron, not one unit of thermal energy or kilowatts ever stopped flowing. Not one.
Which is crazy.
Nobody died. Nobody's ever going to die,
No.
right? These are price points. We're just trading paper at this point. We're not literally holding a trillion cubic feet of nat gas and moving it into Boston, okay? These are paper contracts, and we created these all based on physical hubs like Henry Hub. None of this existed, man.
None of it.
We were started making up, hey, Henry Hub, that's a price point, man. And San Diego Gas and Electric, that's a price. ERCOT. We were coming up with it. We made all these names. French Lick.
Really?
Oh, dude, totally.
That
totally.
is crazy.
It was so
Dude,
much.
it must have been so much fun.
Well, but the amount you learned, dude.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what I learned about lobbying, regulations, massive capital allocations. The point of this story is there were 23,000 oil producers.
Yeah.
There's 400 now.
Right.
Wiped them out, man. Wiped them out. Is that a bad thing?
I don't think so.
What's the price of nat gas today?
Right.
Struggling at $3. Struggling, right? Largest crude producer on planet Earth, the United States of America, and largest nat gas player in the world, for sure, is the United States of America, built on a 30-day market. In fact, power trades 30 minutes in 30-minute wedges.
I didn't know that.
So this is a daily market. There are no long-term contracts anymore. There's no cost plus. It's all market. Now, so you lost a bunch of producers. We went from 11 billion cubic feet a day to 107 billion today, okay? Well, on 30-day market. So do not tell me that products, the likes of nat gas and electricity, which define if we live in a first, second, or third world nation, dude, these are trading at 30-minute intervals, okay? There are no long-term contracts. There's no need for long-term contracts, and there's no failures in this industry. None. The other thing that people need to recognize is also, there's no black holes anymore, dry holes. You know, finding energy in the United States is no longer an art. It is just pure science, man. So you can't, those margins don't, when you're not taking risk, margins collapse, right? So that was my experience. It was I think 2000, not 2000, 91. I asked my boss to let me leave so I could go to London and build a business. They laughed at me, and then they figured we had 600 people at the time at the clearinghouse, and they said, "We'll never send you to England, dude. Not with your accent." Anyway, the other 599 didn't have the balls or the vision to go, and they ended up sending me, and it would become the deal.
Really?
I really made it when I went to London.
Why?
I was 20, maybe 30 years old. I think the men that I worked with, who you asked me earlier, hey, who's your most interesting interview? The interview with Steve Bergstrom, just because I've known him so long, and he's probably the only mentor I really had. That was a fascinating interview for me, and I think him too. He started remembering things. He stayed in that space. Now I got out of the space, but I think I've been able to bring a lot of the learning of that industry into these other industries. It's really
shows.
Yeah, it's really helped me. It shows up in confidence.
Yeah, that's
people
what
are like, dude, how can you be?
Because you've gone through it a couple of times.
I know what the next song is.
Right.
Now I don't say that arrogantly. I can be wrong on it, but the behavior is so similar. Because you're not really talking about a sector now. You're talking about now who is in control and who is not in control.
And that's why these Bitcoin people are so fanatical about one of my questions to ask you was, do you think all Bitcoiners are preppers? Does every Bitcoiner have guns and ammo and food in their house? I would say a good percentage of them.
I think they should be.
They should be. I agree.
It's inconsistent if you're not.
If you're a Bitcoiner and you don't have guns and ammo, what are you doing?
You don't have, well, first off, you don't have any food.
Yeah, you need the food and the water.
The food, the water. I've been made fun for years.
Me too.
That I have food and water.
My dad used to bust on me all the time. What are you watching? Doomsday Preppers? Well, yeah, kind of. I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know do I need a bunker under the ground or above the ground?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a believer in the bunkers because you got to get there, dude.
If the world.
Mark, you got to get there, bro.
Yeah,
sorry, but.
Have fun with your Hawaii bunker, bro. How are you getting there?
I'm sure you can call up Elizabeth Warren and get air superiority, but
sure.
if your plane ain't leaving the ground, dude, you're not going to Costa Rica.
Before we go on to too much of that, the energy conversation. Knowing that you've seen the energy markets change from all of these different commodities, do you think one of the commodities, natural gas, crude, is there one of them that's completely inefficient where traders should be looking to take advantage of alpha, take advantage of edge? Is one market more inefficient, or maybe even is one more efficient than the other? Are they all kind of screwed? Because in my opinion, how is energy so cheap, like you said, in America? Because if you were truly letting energy flow into a capitalist system, wouldn't it become super competitive and that potentially change the price a lot? Whereas now when we have sovereign players, like you said, US is the biggest controller or biggest, it pulls out of the ground the most. Wouldn't they be influencing the price then? Like how is, for example, gold, with inflation and everything, how is gold not $5,000, $10,000 an ounce?
I'm a seller at anything over 25, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So, because gold can be produced for a long time. I mean, this is oil's problem and nat gas's problem. Oil will never see $100, $120.
Because it can be pulled out of the ground forever.
Well, yeah, yes, and...
Because I don't buy into the hype bullshit that they say all the time about like oil is a fossil fuel and it's going to be a finite resource. I don't know. Do we know for sure that there is a limited supply of oil in the earth?
Do we know anything for sure?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, I grew up thinking the Big Bang was really, 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 really a deal.
And now look.
And now the schools they're still teaching that shit. And it's very clear that, hey, the Big Bang's like a little different than we thought.
Correct.
Can't explain what gravity is. Like, no one can give me a definition of gravity. So I have no clue, dude.
Right.
I think we live in the Matrix.
That's what I'm saying. I agree.
I think I know I'm here with you right now.
Maybe.
My vibe is happy, so that's about all I know, and I think it's all that really matters right now. I just, as far as these markets,
the efficiency.
I mean, I think they are pretty efficient, man. And I think one of the reasons they are so efficient is the fossil fuel guys don't want the green guys here.
No.
And if the green guys would have had a brain in their body, they would have been supporting the high prices of energy.
Because people then want the green more.
I was with Vivek the other day, and I said, look, man, we end all wars by just saying crude oil is $300.
Oh my God, yeah.
Crude oil is $300, no more war.
Right.
I'm happy.
Right.
I'll pay $15, $20 for my gasoline in my car. That will drive me to electric very quickly.
Yep.
Right now, I'm not going electric. I have zero reason to be inconvenienced.
That's a great point.
Okay, for a little tiny margin. But if it becomes, let's go back to the point on, I think energy is too cheap.
Okay.
There's 3 guys here. There's 4 guys total here. Who turned off their laptop computers last night?
Nobody.
Who turned off? A no, a no, a no. When was the last time you remember turning off your laptop computer?
When you had to do a manual restart.
Point made.
Right.
If energy was priced correctly, everybody would be closing their freaking laptops, turning them off. Now, some people are going to be like, that doesn't take any energy. Well, let me give you a little lesson, okay?
Tell us.
There's 72 million homes in the United Kingdom, give or take.
Okay.
If every TV was unplugged at source, okay, unplugged,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that little remote button, you are so young, you don't even remember a time when the TV took 3 minutes to warm up.
No.
Okay, so we got this instant on economy.
Okay, so you're saying if y'all have everybody unplugged it.
400 megawatt coal-fired power station comes off the grid, dude. So don't tell me you're green.
No.
Okay, you're a pig. Okay, you're pigs. You're wasting massive amounts of energy because it's incorrectly priced.
That's a great point.
Period, dude. There is no other way to control demand.
That's a great point. And you know what I think about?
And it's democratic because then you can decide, dude, I'm driving down to the store instead of walking to get a pack of cigarettes.
If gas was more
I don't
expensive,
care,
I'd walk.
15, 20 bucks, whatever. Cool. So you'll do that. Other people will become more efficient. He'll turn the laptops off. How many laptops do I own now?
Exactly.
I probably have 5 computers
Right.
on
all the time.
the time.
Yep.
And that's extremely wasteful.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer there's a lot of demand destruction that can happen if price were to actually reflect a price where you're aware of your demand.
Have you seen RFK Jr. talk about having a smart grid in the United States? And he says if we could just have all the electric toothbrushes turn off at a certain time, and we could shut them off through the
Yep.
grid, so to speak, we could save X amount, and that would actually be super green. Instead, and I mean, I'm not against that.
It's a no-brainer, but for technology, it's a no-brainer, man.
Super easy to do. But then you look at the costs of building a Tesla and the mining and how bad it is for the environment to build the Tesla. Is it even green? Are you even being a pro-green? No, you're being under the illusion that you're green, which is I mean, there's many delusions people live under nowadays, you know.
Yeah. I mean, most of the clothes you wear have petroleum in them.
Right.
So, look, that is not our biggest problem. Us shooting missiles at each other, to me, is a massive issue. Massive, massive issue. Lack of transparency of what's happening and why we're doing it. You know, it'd be one thing if a government was doing this and they weren't using my tax dollars to do it.
But they're using our money.
They were using, and I'm a taxpayer, okay?
Right.
I want to pay my taxes.
Me too.
But I don't want my taxes to kill anyone.
Me too.
And I feel guilty for continuing to pay my taxes.
You almost should. I mean, like, I feel the same way.
I
It's
should
tough.
feel ashamed, and the truth is I'm just a little baby, because, you know, a really strong man would stand up and go, no,
I'm not paying.
I'm not doing this.
And that's what they did in
I don't want to
1776.
kill anyone, okay?
Right.
This is not cool. I'd rather pay $300, man.
Right. Yeah. Do you think that with wars now being I mean, we are basically in 3 wars right now as we're sitting here.
At
Russia,
least.
Ukraine,
At least.
Israel, China potentially taking Taiwan, this conflict in Venezuela, the Houthi rebels in Yemen. We have a lot of conflict. Remember when Trump was running for office in 2017, 2016, whatever, they said Trump's going to lead us to war. We were in 0 wars.
Yep.
So now that we're in all of these, do you think that this is a pro-Bitcoin scenario because of the global conflict, or is it a negative for Bitcoin? Not to bounce around Bitcoin and energy, but it all goes together.
I think it's negative for energy.
It's negative for
Everybody
energy.
thinks it's good for energy. Oh, dude. You drop a weapon somewhere and it's going to destroy the economy.
Oh my God, yeah.
If we keep damaging buildings, we're destroying demand. So, Bitcoin, if this isn't the era for Bitcoin with all this craziness going on, and it's not just the wars, I mean, then Bitcoin's just a piece of bullshit, okay? Like I think in the next 12 months, Bitcoin will either, do its deal, or it will proven to be, hey, it's not really going to work. I don't believe that. I think it's going to work exceptionally well. But I quite frankly, I think Bitcoin's good in either scenario. I think in a peaceful environment, Bitcoin would be good.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point now, it doesn't matter whether interest rates go up or down, Bitcoin's going to roll.
Yeah.
I think now it's going to take on its own life. You're bringing in now real long-term institutional buyers, legacy buyers, people that look at things 5-10 years. I don't need this money, so I don't want to go buy that building. A lot of headaches, man. Headaches that I don't have with Bitcoin. I can buy that entire building with Bitcoin and either decide to give it to Fidelity to manage, or I manage all of it on my own in my own little wallet, walking around like an idiot. What happens if I get a coma? So, and this is probably my disagreement with some of the peeps that were before me in this space. I just don't think it's realistic to think somebody's going to walk around with $300 million of Bitcoin in their fucking wallet, man.
No,
I
don't think it's realistic.
And by the way, if you're doing it, like, you need to go get an insurance policy.
Right.
And the truth is, no one will give you an insurance policy on it, because they're going to be like, hey, what happens if you get in a coma? I need to get your seed phrases or whatever. So I've not been really negative about the value of being able to self-custody.
Sure.
I just don't think that everyone is going to do it. My sister will never do it.
I agree with you.
My twin brother,
He'll do
who
it.
doesn't really like Bitcoin,
You think he'll do it?
it'll be the only way he'll hold.
Right.
See, it's very freaky though. He's not really into Bitcoin. Somebody gave him some Bitcoin, and now he's in it. And now he's got me going, well, bro, you're getting ready to have a problem, and I think I'm getting ready to win big. And he sees my conviction, right? And so I think he picked up some at 30, but not relative to his size. And this is why I say we're in early days, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy. Okay, I would not buy 300. Okay, like, you're a trader. I looked at 300 and went, dude, that's a lottery ticket, dude.
Right.
I would never have bought thousands, 100,000 coins. And for me, I'm going to put 300 grand to work, right? So I look at it and go, okay, well, am I going to put 300 grand in $3?
Right.
Some people did it.
Yeah.
And they're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they've accounted for their taxation issue.
Definitely not.
Well, see, that's a problem.
But isn't that where you can kind of help them too? Can we plug potentially one of the things you're working on?
Well, that is why I bought Node 40. I was like, hey, there's nobody doing accounting or even financial narratives around the Bitcoin strategy.
Right.
They're commingling coins. There's all kinds of, when you don't have a transparency, like if you were trading and you weren't transparent, or if you're driving down the road at 140 and you don't have an HUD and a dashboard, you're going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to probably die.
Yeah.
At 4 miles an hour in my Range Rover, okay, good. I can stick my sunglasses on and not look at anything.
Right.
Okay, I'm probably not going to die.
Correct.
But it's 4 miles an hour.
Right.
And this is getting ready to be a very real.
We're going on an on-ramp here.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you feel like the energy...
Can I get another one of these?
Thanks, Clay. Do you feel like the energy shift, meaning the positive momentum that Bitcoin has been gaining by mainstream, is aligned with the true intention of Bitcoin, which was to be decentralized, away from the big banks? That's where my biggest confusion. If you said, Austin, what are you most confused about Bitcoin? Let me clear it up for you, so you can dump all your money into it. I'm confused as to why this is so pro-Bitcoin that the big banks are getting involved. Because I thought this was supposed to be anti-big bank. I thought this was supposed to be get my money out of the system, decentralized. When the banks go down, I'll still have my Bitcoin and I can do my thing. Explain to me why ETFs for Bitcoin are not a bad thing, because I'm worried they're a bad thing because it centralizes it.
Well, Coinbase is centralized.
True.
We're here right now. Why are we here right now and it's centralized? We were decentralized before I showed up, and then I showed up here, and now we're centralized. Centralization is very efficient, man.
It makes things efficient. I agree.
It is the most efficient. Thank you so much. It is the most efficient way. And if you and I shared the same God, and he was running the show or she was running the show, we would have no worry, not one worry about centralization.
True.
So, look, I have the right to hold the coins in my own wallet.
Sure.
I have the right to give them to Fidelity.
Sure.
I can give them to my bank and now borrow against it. The moment I start doing lending and doing derivatives around Bitcoin, I have to give the coin up.
You have to.
Okay, because like, where's the collateral?
Correct.
So.
And that's what I understand. So that's why. That's why centralization is not a bad thing.
This is going to be fine, dude.
Yeah.
This is going to be just fine, okay?
Yeah.
Or they're going to punk it around.
Yeah.
They're going to probably do the same thing that some of these whales have been doing. Look, I'm calling you on it, okay? You can't say you're worried about BlackRock fucking spooling you up when you've been doing it for 15 years.
That's a great point.
So like, this market's been managed for 15 years. If I would have been here, dude, this market would have been managed every day, dude. I'd be running this motherfucker, okay? Literally. And so I know it's being run. Like, it's the natural thing that a trader does.
Okay, so then let's go on that for a second. I look at
So I'm not worried about the black. I think you're going to see money coming in here, dude, that is, you've never seen this kind of money.
Fair.
They're buying $5 million to $500 million wedges of Bitcoin.
It's crazy.
They're not buying one Bitcoin or a point.
Right. Like everybody else.
Hey, all this get off of zero, get on one, dude.
Get on one.
You need to race to one Bitcoin.
Right, because they're buying 100 or 1,000.
I don't get this point one thing. Fucking get one. It's 40 grand. Like, go get a summer job and bust your ass to make 40, 50 grand. I've been telling all my followers
that are like my age, because I just had my first kid, get your kid a Bitcoin. Get it
totally.
Now. They will thank you.
Totally.
My Leo will thank me for Bitcoin.
The parents will thank themselves for doing it because you won't be indebted with all the shit that's getting ready to hit you in cost.
Of course. And also, I think Bitcoin is a great hedge for inflation. That's really what I think its biggest pro is to my generation, is like, goddamn, everything is getting so expensive. It's fucking crazy. Bitcoin, though, is the only thing that can, sure, Facebook is up 15% today, 20% on earnings. That 15, 20% jump happens once a quarter. You know, if it has a good quarter. It could have a terrible quarter and it could go down the shit. Bitcoin, I think, could be a great hedge. But what I was going to say first before we go off it.
Can we just talk about Facebook? Because
yes.
One of my least favorite public companies.
Meta now, sorry, Meta.
As long as the board and the shareholders are who they are right now, like who's running the deal, to me, it's not, like, I care about society.
Yeah.
I don't really care about rich and living in a shithole.
And you don't like the people running Facebook. I don't either.
I don't. I judge everything by the products that fall out, and these are not good products, man.
I agree.
Like, I don't judge people. I might look at your car. If you're going to come be my secretary and your car is all disorganized, probably not going to hire you. I'm going to be that kind of judgmental.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I don't know what the value of Facebook is. Okay, like, they're an $800 billion company, about the size of Bitcoin. My question is, at Bitcoin at 800 billion in market cap, $43,000, Facebook trading whatever it's trading, it's about $800 billion enterprise. How much of that is made up for network effect? How much of that you think? 10%, 30, 40, 50? I mean, me, I think it's a lot, dude.
80?
Maybe 50 plus, okay?
Yeah.
50 plus, then are you telling me that the network effect value of Bitcoin at 43, there's 50% value?
No.
Guess what? I think there's zero value placed on Bitcoin today. You and I would not be together today, dude, if it was not about Bitcoin.
Right.
You might be trading energy, but you're not going to interview me on energy. You're going to interview me. This thing has a lot of gravity that brings people together.
It's true. And
I'm saying not one penny is, valued in or ever been paid for the network effect. Not a freaking penny.
I don't think you're wrong. I think some people would say you're wrong. Some people would argue that, but
they'll
be
love
Bitcoin
to have
haters.
The conversation.
Yeah, need the Bitcoin.
Well, they
haters
can be, but see, I just brought them back to Facebook. And, okay, let's break this apart. Let's go to Google and let's go to all these other social networks. What's X worth? Now it's worth 29 billion because he did a really smart trade, but at one point he thought it was worth 44 billion.
Yep.
And the moment he started charging, I showed up. I don't want to go into a free deal.
No. So
I think we're going to start measuring these companies and going, oh shit, man. Like I'm just talking about one feature of Bitcoin, which is that the you and I,
the connection.
Like, I like you. I have a new friend because of an industry I'm in.
Right.
Because of an investment.
You don't have a new friend because of Facebook nowadays.
Ooh, dude,
I get what you're saying.
that's cool,
I
dude.
get what you're saying.
No, this is a real, like, we're getting to know each other.
Right.
And this isn't one time, but in the last 3 years, I've really pushed myself. I know everybody in this space, man.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the very, very top of the food chain, and if I really want to go and get them, I mean, it's not
get 'em at this point.
impossible.
Right.
And that, for me, is what I call community effect. And to be around a lot of people. I mean, do you want to join a weak army? Or you want to join a freaking strong, rich army that has good principles?
Right.
Because if we started back, I'm pissed off at my government because we keep shooting missiles everywhere. Or instigating other people to shoot missiles. I think that's also the case on a fairly regular basis. And I want it to stop, man.
Yeah. Do you, before we go into the, do you feel like, because again, I'm thinking about how some people perceive Bitcoin. I want to know who you think Satoshi is, truly. But before I ask you that, you look online and you see there's a list of the Bitcoin wallets that control the most Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The US government is one of those companies. China.
Yep.
But you don't actually know at the top. Russia, for sure. The sovereigns are going to be up there.
Yep.
But because we don't know who, let's say you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the top 5 wallets, right? What if they're all controlled by the same person? What if it's all the same foreign? Have you ever thought about that? Like, could this all be controlled too heavily by one person?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I had 2 reasons not to do Bitcoin.
Okay.
One, the first one is, and it shows you how small my circle of either friends or smart friends are. For 2 years, from 300 to 8,000, I was like, nah, dude, somebody can knock out the power, you know, and I'm fucked.
That's what I was going to get at.
But I just needed a friend to look at me and go, bro, if they knock out the power, your credit card's not working either.
It's true.
No wire transfers are going to happen.
All
no
you
ACA.
need is ammo.
The entire financial system blows apart with a cyber attack like that.
Yeah.
2 years, I sat on that idiocy. You know, I think sometimes when you don't fully understand something, you can really be easily deceived by stupid comments.
Agreed.
Or thoughts.
Agreed.
And that's why I love the debate cycle that occurs on X if a space is run properly.
Yep.
That you can actually have a really good conversation and go, hey, this is just, you're not making any sense, man.
Right.
I mean, sorry, but it doesn't hold any water. So that's, you know, Satoshi. My second reason was, hey, this must be a CIA op.
That's right.
From day one. I'm like,
like,
you know, if I was the guy, dude, I'd be like doing a little wiggle, get a bunch of anarchists in here like Matt Kaiser, get everybody all spooled up, take that fucking market to $4 trillion and then dump it.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Fucking
Liquidate.
smash it. Exactly what Jamie said.
Yes.
The other day about Satoshi.
Yes.
And that's the way he would think, see. Jamie would be like, let's unload this motherfucker and move it.
Right.
Sorry for the bad language,
No,
but that is the way Jamie's
That's
thinking.
how he thinks.
That's
yes.
the way I would be thinking if I'm doing this
100%.
job. Dude.
That's why I'm
I'd
saying.
Smash that market into
So it's good
pieces.
that we're thinking like that. So what then convinced
Totally.
you on
This
that
is
point?
what's important.
What then convinced you on that point?
We shouldn't be doing this to everyone else. We should be saying, hey, if in game theory and I'm in control, what would I be doing? Because these are not bad people, dude. They're just trying to survive.
Right.
Okay, it's just natural. If another dog walks in here, my dog's going to take off and rip his head off.
Right.
Because he's like, I'm the only cat here, right?
Right.
It's just natural.
It's natural.
So
who is Satoshi?
Dude,
Does it matter?
Does it matter? I mean, does it matter that Nikola Tesla had most of his shit stolen from him and put under a different name? He was still right.
Yeah.
You know, I think the theories are, okay, he comes out and dumps 4 million coins. Pretty much from what I've seen, Mark can handle it, dude.
That's what I was going to say. 4 million, it's like, it's a lot.
Okay,
but it's not.
might drive it down to 10 grand, but I don't care.
Right.
Please drive it down to 10
Please.
G's.
Oh my God.
Please.
Right.
If you're not over leveraged, you don't vomit when I say that.
No, because then when it goes down, you're like, yes, get my
Totally.
DCA lower.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Right.
But if you're vomiting on my, hey, it could go to 10,000 if somebody dumped 4 million.
You're probably leveraged.
You're overextended, dude.
Yes.
Like you should be like waiting for that moment to pounce on that beautiful virgin and like, oh, this is it, dude. 10 grand? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Because you've had so much to learn now, right?
Like, and you've seen the guys like yourself. How many people am I going to talk to that talked about Bitcoin at 300 or 1,000 and they didn't buy it, and then they finally got it at 10 and at 12, and then I got it at 15. You know what I mean? Like you envy the people that could have gotten it lower.
Yeah, it's really worth interviewing those people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like there's people here, man.
And you've had some of them on your show.
I mean, I know. I had dinner the other night with a lady that's got 35-cent Ethereum
Shut up.
and $7 Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
But
$7 Bitcoin?
Yeah, her son told her to do it.
And she listened to him.
She's
Good
the
for
CEO
her.
of a local company.
Good for her.
And but this is the really, really important piece. I asked her this question. I said, hey, at 43.5 or $3 or $7, which you bought it at, what price entry point do you think is the most risk less trade? She said 43.5 for sure.
Coming from a lady that bought it at 7.
She'll buy a lot more at 43 than she did at 7. Dude.
So do you think that...
Right?
Yes,
I mean,
100%. Do you think that most people that are getting into Bitcoin get convinced on its potential and don't have an exit price? Or do you think there are people that are traders like us and might have an exit price? Is there ever a point to sell it? Because it becomes an asset, right, that you can lever for other things. So why would you sell it is the thought, right?
I mean, was there ever a time when you should have sold Manhattan?
No.
If you owned it back from 1850?
You want to
Probably
know the
not.
first stock I bought with my dad? Apple.
Apple?
And you know what we did? Sold it and bought my car. If I still had those shares, it'd be 500, 600 grand.
Yeah, that's right.
You never sell.
Yeah.
As much as you can, right? So same thing with Bitcoin. You never want to sell
Well,
it.
if you have a large community of traders, this is an interesting little fun fact.
Let's do it.
Who are the most successful investors of all time at Fidelity?
I don't know their names.
The Peter Lynch.
Peter Lynch.
Yeah, but the holders that came into the fund,
Early.
the greatest performing portfolios inside of Fidelity. Any guess? They're all dead.
Okay.
They left it alone, man.
They just left it for their kids, for the next
They just
generation. They
didn't
pass it.
Fuck with it.
Yes.
They didn't spool it
Hey,
around,
maybe this is
trade
a
it.
similarity between Bitcoin and real estate. When you sell it, you kind of get fucked. Don't sell it. Use it, lever it, loan against it, try to keep it as long as you can. Because I think you get fucked. Everybody I talk to that's your age or older about real estate, they all say, oh, I wish I never sold that property. It would have been worth $5 million now. So I think maybe that's a similarity between Bitcoin and real estate. Is selling it is probably the stupidest thing you could do once you believe in the technology.
Yeah, real estate's a little different because you can depreciate it.
You can
There's
write
a
off
lot of
against
tax
it, you get the tax
advantages.
benefits. There's no tax benefit to Bitcoin.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think that gets resolved very easily, actually.
Why?
Well, remember, when I get a distribution from an apartment building, I have to pay tax on that.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if you're doing that, that's an awesome strategy to take distributions from apartment buildings and then take that money and move it into Bitcoin. Do not take it into your household and spend it. Reinvest it either into another real estate deal or into Bitcoin. To me, that's an awesome strategy. And then you get levels. Because if you're going into an apartment building, you're there for 10 years, man.
Right.
Like you go into my brother's fund, it's 10 years,
locked
and
up.
he can roll it for 10 if he
Yep.
chooses.
Yep.
So he doesn't want to get squeezed,
Yep.
right? Oh, I got it. The other thing about real estate that's really valuable, it has no price. There's not a chart to look at.
No.
So there's never a liquidation event.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
3 to 9 months takes to, which is really kind of a very cool feature when you think about having also Bitcoin, which gets liquidated immediately.
Right.
There's no phone calls.
No.
Especially if you're self-custodian.
Yeah.
So well, I'm not sure how that would work because it'd be on exchange, but so to me, the if they would have never sold it scenario, I mean, the reason they're selling it is that they're doing the 1031 exchange, right? They're able to compound it.
And roll it.
You got to either sell it or you can't do the 1031 exchange. We sold a bunch, man. Me and Grant sold a bunch in Arizona. I didn't want to sell them. $25,000. It reminds me of Bitcoin's price today.
Tell me why.
25 to 55,000. We were buying doors in Arizona. He was really like it was his first shit.
Okay.
And I think I was his first investor. I was like, let's do more of that stuff, dude. I like that 20,000. And then now he's buying $200,000 doors.
Right.
Went from 20 years ago, 20,000 to 30,000 and now 200. Oh, wow, inflation.
Yep.
Why wouldn't Bitcoin do the same thing?
Time and inflation.
Why?
Same thing. It should
Why?
do the same thing.
It's got no maintenance costs.
None.
Actually, it should do much better.
Right. No tenants. No nothing.
No wear and tear, man.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, like, I gotta, get an inspector in here to look at the building. None of that. And it's got a shorter duration period. Now, I think that's a bit of a problem for many investors that get over their skis.
Yeah.
because they then liquidate the only thing they can, which
At the
is
worst price.
always Bitcoin.
And it's always at the worst price.
Yeah. Well, because it's a liquidation moment.
Right. Like I had friends during the dip from COVID in March and April of 2020 selling Apple because it dipped so low they couldn't take the pain. I'm like, this is when you should be buying more. So the liquidation event always happens at the worst price.
I got margin called 7 times last year on Bitcoin.
7 times.
Yeah.
How's that work? So when they margin call you, what do you got to do? Put more money into the account? Buy more Bitcoin? Who's calling?
Well, I was margined against a bank using some surrogates.
Okay.
And didn't really, it was all sitting in a bank and some leverage, and interest rates went crazy, but I never sold any Bitcoin. I sold everything else I had.
Right, and put the money there. So
gold, dude, dump it.
Well, you know, and that's what made me think of what you were just saying. When gold had its ETF, because everybody, I like to try to look in the future.
Yeah.
I've been trading for 9 years, so I sucked for many years, and I'm just starting to really hit my stride now. So I'm starting to get a longer term time horizon. I'm starting to see you can't look at things week over week. You got to have a bigger picture. When you look back at gold, when the ETF for gold first came out, gold's price dipped. When you go 5-10 years from today, and you look back at the Bitcoin price today and its ETF year, it's also going to be a halving year, you're probably going to look at this year as like, God damn, that was the last chance I had to buy Bitcoin at 30 or 40K. Potentially. If you think about it 10 years from now, this could be that last moment. And that's why I've been buying more, because I am fearful of regret. I don't want to regret sitting here having a conversation with you saying, and I say this to other people, that could be a great moment, because you got to have that forward-looking, time horizon.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of young people don't have that, which is why they speculate on Bitcoin, they leverage trade on Bitcoin, they do those things because they want the action. But like you said, Bitcoin used to move from $1 to $100 often. That dramatic volatile movement happens less as big money gets involved more. As these ETFs buy up more Bitcoin, I do think you're not going to get the 20% in a day on Bitcoin as much as you used to. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure about that one.
No, tell me why.
I think eventually we end up in a world where it is less volatile.
Okay.
But introducing the largest swinging dicks on planet Earth to Bitcoin
doesn't necessarily mean less volatility.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe there's going to be a bit of a cock show here for next 18 to 36 months.
Who can get the most Bitcoin?
No, who can drive it around?
You think so?
And control the market.
Because that's what they're talking about on the
There's going to be a
like
fight.
you were back in the day with the 50 guys.
Dude,
Who's driving it? Who's moving it? How much you moving?
I've had phone calls at 8 o'clock in the morning when I was in England.
Yeah.
And from the market makers.
Yeah.
Going, hey man, when you get in the office? I said, dude, like I'm going to get a cappuccino. I'll be there in a little bit. What's the deal? Market's not open, dude. Look, well, open it, bro. There's nobody here until you show up, dude. Like somebody needs somebody to put their head out.
Yeah.
3 at 3:01.
Right.
Let's start.
And then it goes.
I mean, I used to go to lunch with a guy named David from Enron, and our deal was every month, dude, every month or two, we would literally sit down, put the phones away at the end of lunch. We knew what we were going to do. And both companies, people were terrified when we had lunch together. Very expensive Italian restaurant. We're smoking really cool cigars.
Right.
Okay, let's start. And we get 2 cappuccinos, and literally we go, okay, it's 50,000 units a month for 3 months, and it's 50,000 MMBTU per day for 3 months. Price is, I start 9 at 10. And then, but nobody could get up. You could not get up and you could not call the office until the bid offer spread
came down.
Tightened so much that one of us went, I'll take the offer, I'll hit your bid. And couldn't call the office. But that helped the market. See, he and I were mature enough, even though he was a competitor. Dude, we need 50 million units in the market, moving around, squashing around. If I lose,
we need to move it so we can make the
totally,
market.
Dude, totally. And that's what's going to happen here. The ETF.
So?
Oh yeah,
it's already happening.
It's happening right now.
Interesting.
So I mean, the big hedge funds that people talk about, these are swing traders. You don't need a hedge fund to like put on a 10-year position in Bitcoin.
No.
So I think, man, we've never seen these type of people. These are animals. And where these people see gaps, they will make those gaps disappear. It's just in their nature, okay? And if they don't make them disappear, then that gives them further proof of what happened. And so then they'll take the other side. They don't care. They're relentless. They're geniuses at what they do. It's all they do. They're freaks of the ticker.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think looking at, first off, if you're doing a bunch of day trading on any of these coins, I would like go to your wife and tell her what you're doing, how many hours you're, like I would love to meet with all your wives and girlfriends, and I'm going to spank most of you. Throwing around $1,500 on Dogecoin, dude, and looking at the chart all day long for months, this is not a living.
No,
it's not a
group me
career.
with those degenerates.
You know
Come on,
nothing.
Gary. I'm not those guys.
I know you're not. No, I'm talking to.
No, I know.
I just think a lot of people.
A lot of people are.
Dude,
yes.
they're going to get wiped out.
They're going to get. Well, come
they're,
on.
They're going
that
to
is the
get
bottom,
absolutely
man. That is the
wiped
bottom.
out. Yeah,
they're going to get licked every time. Did you ever hear the story of the Dogecoin millionaire? This big fat dude with a beard who was on the Graham Stephan show. Goes on.
You don't like fat people?
I love fat people. It depends what sport we're playing. He goes on and he talks about how he's got $100K he put in from his 401k, liquidated, bought the Doge, ran up to 3-something million, refused to sell because he's got big swinging dick. Egos get in the way, as we know with traders, that's very common. Doesn't sell. It went down to $1 million, still wouldn't sell. Finally sold when it was like at like 600, 500K. Finally walked himself out of the position. Still made some money, but left 2-point-something million on the table. So yes, there's many, many people like that are going to punt it. Why don't you ever dabble with other cryptos? I only hear you talk about Bitcoin, really. I want to thank you guys for watching this far into the video. If you are not a member of ASFX, if you're living under a rock or maybe on Mars, I'm offering you 25% off our starter pack and access to our Discord chat with the link flying in above my head. Use the card to save 25% on the starter pack. You're going to learn 4 back-tested strategies, and like I said, you're going to get access to join us, trade with us in our Discord chat. Now let's get back to the video. What's your thought on the other stuff?
Well, just because I don't talk about something doesn't mean that I don't know anything about it.
We got the Dogecoin millionaire sitting right here.
I have Dogecoin.
There you go.
I have.
You're going to use it when you go to the Dallas Mavericks game to buy your merch.
I don't go to basketball games, but look, Dogecoin for me was a lottery ticket. Okay, it's a bet on Elon. It's the cheapest option on Elon
it's
that
an
I
option.
know. Like, find me a cheaper option on Elon.
Right,
Okay,
you can't buy SpaceX. You can't buy. Right.
Exactly, dude. Like,
100%.
come on. So to me, it's like.
What about Ethereum?
I own some Ethereum. I used to own a lot of Ethereum.
I think Vitalik is one of them geniuses.
I'm scared now. I don't like Ethereum.
Why?
Well, one, I think he looks like he's going to die tomorrow morning.
He looks sick, doesn't he? Like very skinny.
Dude,
very
and then give me one time in history where someone had that much power, that much adulation and money at that age, and did
well and survived
and was healthy
I can't
with
think
it.
Of one. Yeah, you can't think of one.
I own, I think, 11 Ethereum.
Okay.
Maybe 25 or something.
Okay.
And it would be the first thing I'd sell.
Yeah.
I know everybody's telling me it's going to run, and it might, man. But you know
what? Because the technology.
Dude, I have Bitcoin. It has no human error risk.
No.
Okay. I have Dogecoin. 1,000% human error risk. Elon does, that shit's worth nothing. Okay. If Bitcoin's owner dies, guess what?
But that's the beauty of it.
Shit, the fucking supply just actually deflated. Okay. So like, to me, they're not even, no comparison whatsoever. I don't know what Ethereum really does, man. I own some XRP. The chart looks like shit. Okay, you guys, I love you XRP guys. I'd love you on my team.
Oh, I hate them.
But you know what? I mean, well, some of them are like, fucking hell.
Dude, I mean,
maybe, dude. Maybe one day, you know, they've been doing a bunch of backdoor deals with a bunch of institutions.
See, I'm in the same, I say it the same,
but even if they did, those institutions may or may not honor those contracts.
Right, exactly. Bring it to the forefront, then we'll talk about it. Right, bring it actual to reality, yeah.
I think I own even some SEI.
Really?
Oh yeah, like I can be a little bit of a degenerate.
Look at you,
and make sure you understand. Okay, one, these are extremely small positions.
Sure.
I mean, for you, they might be really large.
Yes.
But relative to my book, they could all go away, and I wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd know it, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I'd come on these and go, I was a fucking pig. You know, I was an idiot.
Right.
They do take more time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I own Solana. I bought some Solana the other day.
I like Solana.
I bought Solana last night at 93.
There you go.
Dude, I like the way it's behaving.
I mean, the guys running the company are legit. Like, it seems to be very solid.
See, I don't even...
You're not even look at that? Are you looking at just a technical chart?
Don't care.
You looking at a price?
Yeah.
What time frame? When Gary pulls up a chart? Daily chart?
No.
Chart?
Oh, dailies.
Dailies.
But for me, Solana, Ethereum, SEI, and Dogecoin, maybe not Dogecoin, they were all extremely short-term plays.
Sure.
6 months.
Sure.
Like, there's no chance of me giving these to my kids, okay? No. There won't be anything to give them.
And the money you make on it, you roll it into Bitcoin? maybe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude. It's
What's your number, if you don't mind, as we're finishing up? What's the number? 5% of net worth into this stuff? 10%? What's your number, if you have a number? Because that's always, you know, like we were talking about the other guys.
allocation?
Like, yeah.
Well, I think first off, get rid of your debt. If you have debt on credit cards,
I love that you say that. You say that in all your videos. I
yeah,
love that you
man.
because I hate
dude.
people
Don't
that are,
pay 10%.
This is where you and your brother probably beef. Debt is good.
No, he agrees. With
He agrees?
Me. No, but the debt he and I like is 5%.
Right.
Okay, you give me 7%. I'll take 100 million of it right now. I'll overpay for it, no problem.
Right.
I can make money.
You don't like 15% credit card debt.
12%. Well, one, it shows me that you couldn't afford it in the first
Correct.
place. It wasn't a business.
Correct.
Two, your assets depreciating.
Yep.
You're telling me basically you bought something you couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
And why would you do that? So pay off all your debt. Just rip the credit cards in half. First off, you're supporting the enemy if you like Bitcoin. You're supporting
Visa and MasterCard.
the enemy and gross inefficiency,
Yep.
centralization with evilness.
Because like you said, it's two companies that run the entire credit card industry.
72% of all
and
plastic
MasterCard.
run by those two guys.
Yeah.
I don't believe in cartels, monopolies, duopolies,
kinda looks like one.
or oligopolies, okay? Because the price points get muffled up.
Sure.
You would not be able to charge an adult dating site 700 to 100 basis points, 10%, for doing a $10 transaction.
No.
Okay, just because, oh, it's adult. Well, is it legal?
Right.
Oh, it's a legal transaction. Well, how's it different than a bushel of corn, dude? Or a grocery store transaction?
100%.
Well, it's adult. Huh? Is it legal? Okay.
Right.
So get rid of your debt. Allocation, I mean, I think it depends on the, what are your, my allocation? I think my allocation, I'll tell you what I think my allocation should be. My allocation should be 80%.
Wow. I did not expect you to say that.
I know. I could actually build a case that it should be 90. Well, let's think about it. I've got 20 years to live, probably 20 to 30 years to live. If I have my base conditions and needs met, and that must be after all this work, 10%, like, you know.
You could live off it.
I can be,
That's what you're
look,
saying.
I live in a ridiculously large home, okay? So I don't need some of the stuff I have. But if I'm wrong on the 80% allocation, my children, me and Anthony Scaramucci had this conversation.
I love him.
His hate for Trump, man. I don't know why you're hating on
Bro,
Trump.
he worked for the guy.
I know he did, but
He hated him because he fired him.
well,
Come on.
I mean, I got it, but it doesn't make Biden good. Anyway,
Right.
If my Bitcoin scenario, my cost base is around 33 or 35,000, because I did some respooling on a deal last year for lost tax harvesting. So you could remove $1.5 million of cost on that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, for me, that is one of the tremendous values of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Is the volatility, dude.
Right.
The volatility, to be able to take losses in different years is like freaking awesome. And to be able to reload, that is not a bad thing. It's just been sold as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. 80% allocation for me, I die, I'm wrong. My kids start with more than I had.
Yep.
Okay, so
That
I'm
makes
actually
sense.
worried, dude, that I'm right. Because I'm worried about what my kids would do with that much money. And what my kids should do with that much money is the same thing I will do with that money if it happens in a short period of time, which is a little anti-Bitcoin, because I hear these guys holding on to it. What are you holding on to it for? I want to make $1 billion out of it, and then I'm going to take 995 million of it, and I'm going to stick it into St. Pete's education system, okay, and like fix this shit, because this is ridiculous.
Yep.
And so that's what we should be doing with Bitcoin, dude. Want it to go up, sell it at some time when you have a really meaningful project to do. I think that would be a taxless event.
Right.
And then I get to use that fuel to expand the depth and the breadth of the digital asset industry. I think that's really, really good. And that has to follow with education, man, because
Right.
we've just lied to everyone about money and like so few people understand anything.
Anything about
it's really
finances.
sad.
It is. It really is. Do you feel like now, as you're getting older, that's like your focus is like giving back and trying to help educate? Because I feel like you're only at the point, even from today, just what I've learned from today and your previous, you're a constant student. You're never closed-minded to new information. You like to learn.
Yeah, no, I do.
You believe in education.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. Real education. Though.
Real education.
Like I think I'm a good teacher.
Yeah.
I think if you said, "Hey, what are you really good?" I am pretty good communicator. A little long-winded, but really a good teacher in boiling things down. I just don't think it needs to be so complicated. I'm not trying to impress anybody with how smart I am.
Yeah.
I feel lucky that I have the freedom and the wealth. I mean, it's for me not money. It's the wealth to be able to make my own decisions, and I think that's what everyone should want. Wealth to make your own decisions and to be able to say, no, stop it. I don't want you. I think that's what real power is.
That's real freedom.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, for real.
Or you can't do this
Why?
to me.
Because you're making a decision with your time. You're not making and that's what the most valuable currency is time.
Yeah, and I set an example for you.
You do.
But it's really important for like, we're going to lose our shit here. Okay,
Yeah.
So you asked me, hey, what's the reason I'm doing this? I mean, one, it's more fun than sitting on my back porch smoking dope.
Yep.
Like getting fat,
Yep.
not doing anything,
Right.
Drinking beer all day, whatever.
Right.
Playboy.
Right.
Meeting guys like you, man. I mean, this is an opportunity for us to come together in a way that we have never had before.
And uplift everybody.
And uplift everyone. And the people that don't want to be uplifted, you're going to hear them. They're going to make all their noise. You can go, okay, thank you.
Right. Last question.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself at 27, 28, when you first got into the energy industry? You were first learning, wheeling, dealing. What would be the advice to the guys that are younger, that not to get rich, not to do anything like that, but just to live a life that when they get to your age, they can look back and say, I did a lot. I feel like this was a successful life. What advice would you give to those guys?
I'd probably go back to 16 to 23 first, and I'd say, hey, leave your home and the town you live in as soon as you possibly can.
I love that.
Okay? Do not stay with mommy. You can't bring dad with you. You can't go live with your sister in the adjoining town and dump your girlfriend. And then go hang out for 2 years and figure out who you are, because you didn't learn it in high school. I can assure you, you did not learn who you are in high school. You will only learn it outside your comfort zone. At 27, I wish I'd have been a little more mature, because I would have probably made a lot more money. But when I say that to you, it really just wants to come out of my throat, because I have been really honest across my entire life. And if I saw my boss doing something that didn't make any sense, I'd be like, dude, that's just fucking stupid.
Right.
That's a bad deal. And I think I'd rather just be that guy.
Yeah.
And if I left a few, I've never been Mr. Political. Probably should have thought about going into politics, but I could never survive there, man. I don't even want to be there, okay?
Right.
Once you got on your knee, once you bend your knee to anyone for anything,
money, for anything,
you're
screwed.
A cuckhole forever.
real.
Forever.
For
So
real.
I'm not bending my knee. This is America.
Yeah.
And I would encourage no one to bend their knee unless they made a big mistake. And then hey, I want to, get forgiveness and amends and clean your shit up. So, dude, we could be here for an hour talking about stuff I should have done different.
But those are good answers.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really
thank
like
you.
that.
Thank you.
Gary, this has been great.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
For our listeners,
Our
until
warmest
next
day
time,
in April,
I know.
February.
Hey, we'll take it. A little heat, a little sweat, it's good. For the listeners, thank you so much for listening all the way through. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.